Inside, a faint haze of smoke clung to the air, mingling with the scent of aged whiskey and polished oak. Patrons murmured in corners, laughing quietly, nursing their drinks with a familiarity born of repeated visits. Behind the bar, Joe, a stout man with graying hair and a permanently furrowed brow, wiped down counters while keeping one eye on the door as if the world beyond was perpetually plotting trouble. In the corner, seated with his back to the wall, was Malcolm. His posture was calm, almost unassuming, the faint tremor of age softened by the deliberate steadiness of muscle honed over decades. To anyone looking casually, he was merely an elderly black man enjoying a quiet drink, a retired figure blending into anonymity. Yet beneath the soft exterior lay years of discipline and strength, memories of martial arts halls, military camps, and young soldiers under his tutelage. Every scar, every muscle remembered battles fought in the name of defense, honor, and survival. The door to Joe's place swung open with a clang that drew the attention of everyone nearby. A group of 4 young men stepped in, the sound of their laughter booming across the bar like a challenge. Leather jackets, gold chains, and a swagger born of entitlement marked them instantly. They sauntered toward the corner where Malcolm sat, their eyes narrowing as they spotted him. "Yo, Pops," one of them jeered, voice loud enough for the entire bar to hear. "This your spot? Looks like you're all by yourself." The youngest of the group smirked. "Yeah, maybe you can move. We want this corner. Don't give me that look, old-timer." Malcolm tilted his head slightly, taking another sip of his drink. He didn't move. He didn't need to. Every inch of him exuded a controlled patience, an invisible boundary that the young men instinctively felt but chose to ignore. One of them stepped closer, shoving Malcolm lightly. "Hey, I said move." The bar's chatter hushed as the tension thickened. The air shifted. Malcolm set down his glass with deliberate care. His eyes, dark and piercing, met the young man's. The room felt suddenly smaller, charged with unspoken warning. "You're making a mistake," Malcolm said quietly, each word precise. The gang laughed. "What are you going to do, old man? Call the cops?" One scoffed, unaware of the storm beneath Malcolm's calm exterior. Another grabbed Malcolm's shoulder, a crude, aggressive gesture. The bar fell silent. Every patron held their breath. Malcolm's mind raced in slow, deliberate sequences. Memories of military training, of teaching young soldiers, of disciplined strikes and evasive maneuvers. He recalled the countless nights of meditation, of honing both mind and body. The world had grown soft, but his skills had not dulled. They had only been waiting for the right moment. With a controlled exhale, Malcolm shifted his weight slightly, a subtle but unmistakable signal. In the blink of an eye, the first young man found himself unbalanced, stumbling backward as Malcolm's precise wrist technique redirected his momentum harmlessly but decisively. "You should leave," Malcolm said, his voice a calm growl like steel sliding from its sheath. Now, the gang hesitated, eyes wide. One of them lunged, overconfident and reckless. Malcolm anticipated every movement, his body a perfect combination of muscle memory and instinct. He sidestepped, swept a leg, and the attacker crashed into a table, the impact echoing through the bar. As the fight escalated, Malcolm's mind drifted briefly to his past. He remembered standing in a military dojo, young soldiers lined in perfect formation, sweat dripping, fists raised, eyes focused. He had drilled them for hours, teaching not just strength, but discipline, control, and respect. He remembered a night in a foreign city under siege when instinct and training had saved lives. A single misstep could mean death. He had learned patience then, the art of waiting for the right moment to strike. Malcolm moved like water, fluid, unrelenting, controlled. Each strike was precise, a combination of defensive parries and non-lethal but effective counterattacks. He didn't throw wild punches, he used leverage, momentum, and technique. Chairs were knocked aside, the bar's patrons pressed back against walls, their eyes wide as the fight unfolded. The leader of the gang, realizing brute force wasn't working, pulled a knife. Gas filled the bar. Malcolm's eyes narrowed. Another attacker charged, but Malcolm anticipated the motion. He stepped to the side, tripped the man with a sweeping leg, and a precise strike to the shoulder pinned him without causing permanent harm. The fight, though intense, was controlled. Malcolm's body moved with the experience of decades, his mind always 3 steps ahead. By the time the fight ended, all 4 gang members were subdued, groaning, bruised, and terrified. Malcolm stood in the center of the room, chest rising and falling steadily, eyes scanning each one. "Any of you want to try again?" The bar erupted into murmurs, patrons clapping and cheering. Joe approached cautiously. Malcolm, I didn't know. Malcolm gave a small, tired smile. Neither did they, he said softly. He returned to his seat, poured himself another drink, and sat back. The chaos had passed, and yet the lesson lingered. Respect is earned, not assumed, and strength is as much about control as it is about power. The gang limped out, humbled, perhaps shaken enough to rethink their choices. Later that night, Malcolm stepped outside. Rain-slicked streets reflected the city's lights like a fractured mirror. He took a deep breath, recalling the disciplined years of training, the lives he had touched as an instructor, the students who had carried forward lessons of respect and restraint. He knew life often underestimated the quiet ones, the unassuming figures who walked among us unnoticed. Strength, patience, and experience were not always obvious, but when the moment demanded, they revealed themselves in ways impossible to ignore. Malcolm smiled faintly, thinking of the young men he had faced. Perhaps tonight they had learned something valuable, that intimidation and aggression cannot overcome disciplined skill and calm resolve. And to you, dear reader, watching this story unfold, remember, never underestimate anyone and never assume weakness in silence. Strength is not just in muscle or technique, but in restraint, wisdom, and honor. Ah, yes, a fitting conclusion to our cinematic tale of Malcolm's lesson in honor and discipline. If you're a fan of action-packed stories with heart, you won't want to miss the thrilling tales of courage and wisdom that are yet to come. Make sure to hit the subscribe button so you never miss a beat. As for Malcolm, his story might be over for now, but the legacy of his strength and character lingers on. Stay tuned for more gripping cinematic tales of ordinary people rising to the challenge of extraordinary moments.